Friends of our channel and YouTubers, welcome. Answers of an alien from Andromeda, 5th one video, July 5, 2011. Hi friends, we are working hard here. We completed the mapping of undersea tectonic zones of action, and core probes installed in 16 different locations on the planet. The core of the planet is 8% nickel melted, due to the bombardment of cosmic energy which is received mainly from the southern quadrant. This is not yet a concern, but requires real-time measurement. But tonight we'll have some time to talk. Question: a mate asks, what about the dwarf star and the coming events? Mate: the system of dwarf star is within the solar system. He has not interacted with Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Mars or Mercury, for these planets are, coincidentally, opposite the point of entry into the solar system. His greatest interaction seems to be focused on planet Earth. A spacecraft Krulian, with great power traction, is positioned behind the system, but is not interacting. It continues in the original course. The tectonic movement is about to take a course on global rearrangement, and this will trigger a change in position of the axis of rotation of the planet, as the dwarf star is approaching. I will keep you informed. Question: Steve asks, Mithy, are you and your crew monitoring the status of the Fort Calhoun, Nebraska, nuclear power plant, that is being kept secret from the population? Will you shut down atomic energy before we can finish our preparations for the coming events in September? How much preparation time do we have left before power goes out? Steve: this plant should already be in process of shutting down. Your government may have provided alternative energy from other areas. If you live in this region, should stick around because this is an area of firm ground in this territory. Question: Vicky asks, does the Community Galactica have a justice system to deal with beings that do terrible things? Vicky: the Community Galactica has facilities for social adjustment of elements considered harmful to any of the societies. Pirates and bandits are taken there and go through extensive rehabilitation. Usually when they go out there, find their rightful places in the host societies. Question: Jose asks, which alien races are responsible for abductions, also known as fourth kind encounters, and what's the purpose of these abductions? Joseph: as already explained, the abductions were always caused by genetic research, by other humanoid and non-humanoid races. The various types of Greys Deep do research for the genetic improvement of their races. The reptilians look for ways to hybridization with humanoid racism to form colonies considered humanoids, and so on. Currently this type of scientific conduct is no longer approved for this stage of this colony, but even so, with help and cover-up of your own governments, they continue to be made. Question: Matthew asks, Mithy, can you tell us more about wireless power receiver you mentioned before? How it works? What really happened to Nikola Tesla? There are rumors that he actually invented such device but never released it to people. Matthew: the program transceivers of molecules is a technique with many thousands of years, monoliths markers, used in navigation and to make devices that are apparently not distinguishable with respect to its specific function. It can be done with any piece of rock or mineral compact type crystal. The metal, for conducting electricity from external sources, is not used as this could influence the programming when in use. A small pebble can be programmed to emit and receive frequency compatible with the brain, and acts as a transceiver between the brains, connected by a pre-programming function, can be programmed to an individual, connect another specific individual, or connect a data system of a spacecraft, for example. I believe I have already explained this in another conversation. Nikola Tesla was a missionary Pleiadian that brought many advances in manipulation of electric power and plasmic energy, but many things he cannot fall into the hands of your governments to verify the warlike tendencies in the use of many of the most advanced technologies. For many of his inventions, the Terrans were still far from being ready. Question: Gran asks, since we have consistently elected leaders who hoodwink us, how will we ever be able to select better ones in the new era? Gran: things will change gradually. With the frequency of the planet into a new level, will be much easier to recognize the well-intentioned. Certainly the most capable will be forwarded to leadership positions, and will be recognized by society as good leaders. The indications for favoritism will no longer make sense, when the goal is transparency and equalization of the planet's resources to its inhabitants, as a whole. The role of the strongest is to take care of the weak, and not to abuse their weaknesses. The less a society has weaknesses, the faster it grows and generates harmony to everything that surrounds it. Question: Tim asks, Mithy, what can you tell us about the drawings on mountains, and what looks like could be runways for alien crafts in Nazca, Peru? Tim: in ancient times of the Aztecs, Incas and Mayans, the ships could move freely around the planet, with very few observers. Large ships landed on the planet. The large existing airstrip in Nazca was to a great ship's Pleiadians, which landed occupying approximately 3,400 meters of its length. There were minor adjacent tracks to the auxiliary vessels that were made available by the mother ship during operations in the region. The drawings of animal figures were present to decorate the place of arrival of the gods. These tracks were built by the gods, and their divine tools of light rays and levitation, cutters mountains, the same tools that were used to help these cultures to build their temples and cities. Question: Heinz asks, does the members of the elite that rules this earth capacity to reincarnate always in the same families or bloodlines to pursue his agenda? Or that's the point of wishing well to carry out their agenda, if they cannot experience the outcome of his final work? Heinz, you use the phrase, like attracts like, describes some of that old line of spirits. Many spirits, who died of these families, some tried to return with intent to change things, to help those who were changing the meaning of their family events, but, for spiritual weakness, just entering the treadmill and the power, they forget about their intentions to change their behaviors for the better. The power and richness, in this low frequency, is a major impediment to spiritual development, where only the strong and righteous spirits really overcome. At this point, the change in frequency of the planet, with the separation of wheat from the chaff, that rain will end, everything will reset for them, and they will have to start learning again how to control this weakness of commitment to other human beings, that the richness and power can provide. Question: Jerry asks, Mithy, what is this things in the sky? Jerry: this seems to be a ship of a humanoid civilization, from the center of the Milky Way, which established a colony on a planet in a solar system very close to yours, that you called Epsilon Eridan. The ships were 3 balls, one larger central and 2 smaller separated laterally mounted profile of a boomerang. This entry into the atmosphere generated an interaction force field heating the air and generating a vapor condensation, which one the color of fire in this case, to be lit by the setting sun? Question. Barbara asks, I have seen on sites, timeline moving rapidly, that are reliable and that all is happening much more quickly than expected. Would you say mythy? Barbara, really in this period of fluctuation frequency, where the system is unstable, the impression is that the time is out of tune. Only when the solar system destabilizes as a whole is the time to tune in, and with time all will feel in tune with the environment again. Not only humans, but the plants, insects and animals, they also suffered the effects of this new adaptation. Question. Boris asks, are the lengths of telomeres, at the end of human chromosome, really responsible for determine how long humans can live? Boris, as you will understand in the near future, there are several sections of the human genome that determine the possible longevity. It includes regenerative functions that are critical for the maintenance of the physical body healthy. There is not a segment, but the interaction of various segments of the genome that perform an integration of functions in this regard. The regeneration techniques, that regardless of the genome, can awaken bodily functions that extends the healthy fitness, in a suitable environment. At a level 1 of frequency, these techniques will certainly be part of your research, through scientific advances aided by scientists from other extraterrestrial races. Question. Daisy asks, the brain is physical tissue and the mind is our consciousness? How do those two systems coexist? How is our consciousness contained within the physical tissue that is the brain? Do our thoughts emanate from our physical brains or do our thoughts come from another dimension? Daisy, the brain is a biological machine of the highest technology of the third dimension. Like any machine to work, it needs energy. The physical body of the third dimension provides the necessary energy and brain is ready to run. In animals, there is only one program with basic instincts and behavioral traits of each breed. In humans, beyond this basic schedule, is released from the brain to receive far more advanced programming, and this program is provided by your spiritual energy quantum, where all your experiences and knowledge is stored. This energy that lives in your brain, giving him all this information and functions that you personalize, is the only part of you that comes from the fourth dimension, to control the brain in the third dimension. You are your mind, and your mind moves all that is released to interact with it. The mind is indestructible, the matter of the third dimension returns to dust. You know the saying, healthy mind in healthy body. Well, that is what defines how you come into your next incarnation. If your mind is in trouble, you will come in a body with problems, since only physically spotting the problems, you will find a way to overcome them, and correct your faults. If you came up with a flawless body, your mind was good when it passed away last time. Many times, you will consciously know that you will come in bodies with physical problems, but, knowing that only thus will correct major flaws earlier. You will learn to separate your mind from your body, whenever you want to feel yourself, because sometimes the physical body only hinders, at the basic level in a society where there are standards for appearance, height, color, race or social status. Thanks for watching. Join our channel. You are welcome there.